What's up, guys? Coach Tony from Bombec Strength, and today I'm going to talk about what you should eat on meet day. So we train a lot of powerlifters, and meet day is the most important day for a powerlifter. You're putting all your training efforts into one single day to try to be as strong as possible, and we want to eat the right foods so that we can maintain energy over a long day. You know, most powerlifting meets are anywhere from like 5 to 8 hours long. That's a long day. So you have to maintain energy so you can do the best you possibly can. We're going to talk about the different types of foods that you should eat, maybe what are some better choices than others, and why those food choices are going to help you do your best. So first of all, don't introduce any new foods on meet day. This is a mistake I see a lot of powerlifters make. They maybe hear that a certain lifter eats this or a certain lifter eats that. It's not something you normally eat, but you're trying to follow in the footsteps of a lifter that you admire. Don't introduce new foods, because the likelihood of you upsetting your stomach and having to make an emergency trip to the bathroom or just like not feeling at your best, not something you want to do on meet day. So stick to foods that you know you're comfortable with, that you know your stomach can handle, as well as foods that are easily portable, something you can take in a cooler, something you don't have to heat up. Liquid options are always great because they're highly portable. Just don't try to be too fancy. Don't introduce any new foods on meet day. Now, let's talk about kind of the macronutrient breakdown that we want to focus on. So what we need on meet day is fast energy. Nothing works better for that than carbohydrates. So what we're thinking of here is, high carb, low sugar foods, high carb, high sugar, low fat foods that can be easily digestible. Everyone's favorite in powerlifting seems to be Sour Patch Kids. I'm a big Sour Patch Watermelon fan, but whatever flavor you like, Sour Patch Kids are just going to be quick carbohydrates. They're really sugary. They're easy to eat in mass quantities. They're typically in a resealable bag. Like, it just doesn't get any better than that. But you can do any sort of other, sugary candy that has low fat. So like jelly beans are a common choice among like marathon runners. It works just as well at a powerlifting meet. But we're also looking at things like full sugar Gatorade is a liquid option that would be great. You just want to stay with things that are low in fat, which segues into the next macronutrient, fat, and why we want to keep fat on the lower side. Now, fat is very satiating. Fat adds flavor to things, but it's not a great source of energy for powerlifting. When we do intense exercise, big heavy lifting, it's almost exclusively powered by carbohydrates stored in your body. We're not going to get a lot of energy benefits out of fat, and the degree to which they are digested slowly, a little bit more effort on your body to digest fatty foods, that could lead to GI upset, and you don't want to have to be searching for a bathroom or dealing with a tummy ache when you have to squat, bench, and deadlift really heavy. So we want to keep fatty foods to a minimum. I see a lot of donuts at powerlifting meets. That seems to be something that goes along with powerlifting. Unfortunately, donuts tend to be very, very high in fat, so probably not the best choice if you want to perform at your best. So that's why, as far as like sugary candies go, we're looking at Sour Patch Kids, jelly beans. You might do like dry cereal, sugary cereal. We're not looking at like candy bars, chocolate bars, things that are going to be relatively high in fat, just because it's not the source of energy that we want, and it could upset our stomach. So fat wants to be on the lower side. And then protein, which is often touted as the most important macronutrient for anybody who's into strength training. Protein is important. We need a little of it. And the reason for that is we want to stabilize our blood sugar, and we want to slow down the digestion of all these fast-acting carbs that we're eating so that we can kind of have sustained energy throughout the day. We also know that we eat a lot of high carbohydrate foods. It doesn't necessarily make much of a dent in our hunger. We tend to be hungry again relatively quickly. If we consume our carbohydrates with a moderate amount of protein, that can help control our hunger over the course of a long day and kind of keep our hunger at bay as we're kind of waiting for our lifts throughout the day. Now, protein is relatively difficult to digest as well, and a lot of protein sources are accompanied by some degree of fat as well. So we have to be a little bit strategic about our choices. Perhaps the simplest one to choose would be some sort of whey protein powder. It's easily mixed up in some sort of drink. You don't have to chew it like a chicken breast or beef or something like that. And if you get a high quality protein, you can get ones that are relatively easy on the stomach, ones that are low in lactose. So then again, you're not upsetting your stomach on meet day. If you want to go with a whole protein source, something like plain chicken breast, ground turkey, lean ground beef, something like that. Obviously, those things are not necessarily the tastiest to be eaten cold, but they are a good option because you can control the fat content. And if you mix it in with something, a fast digesting carbohydrate such as like white rice or like a refined pasta, something like that, they can kind of bounce off each other pretty well. So carbs are the most important. Fat is something we want to limit. Protein is something we want a moderate amount of. So kind of use that to help guide your food choices on meat day. All right, so a lot of times the nervousness of the day can kind of suppress our appetite, but remember, it's important to have energy for the long day and to be able to lift as heavy as possible. So make sure you pack your meals accordingly. Even if you're not super hungry, try to chip away at some food or some sort of liquid meal in between your attempts so that you can maintain that energy throughout the long day.